Wisconsin Governor and potential presidential candidate Scott Walker. He's here to go on the record, and you're about to hear his response to the swipe from President Obama.
I am confident that any president who gets elected will be knowledgeable enough about foreign policy and knowledgeable enough about the traditions and precedents of presidential power that they won't start calling to question the capacity of the executive branch of the United States to enter into agreements with other countries. If that starts being questioned, that's going to be a problem for our friends, and that's going to embolden our enemies. And it would be a foolish approach to take. And, you know, perhaps Mr. Walker, after he's taken some time to bone up foreign policy, will feel the same way.
And Governor Walker joins us. Good evening, sir. Why you? Why did you get the swipe? Was there maybe the question posed to him mentioned you? And secondly, what do you think about that he tells you should bone up on foreign policy?
Well, you know, this isn't the first time. In the last couple of months, he's attacked me after signing right to work. He attacked us in the past for what we did to take power out of the big government special interest and put it in the hands of the taxpayers. He's now going after us here. But, you know, I think he should spend more of his time trying to figure out ways to work with governors and members of Congress in both parties who have various serious concerns about the framework of this proposed deal with Iran. And I think it's remarkable that someone would suggest that when this is the same person, the President of the United States, who just in the past year called ISIS the JV squad, Yemen a success story, something he's not only called them, his administration continues to claim, and who had a Secretary of State under Hillary Clinton that actually gave Russia a reset button before much of the nonsense happened in the past several years. I mean, this is really surprising that someone would say something like this, but I expect we'll see more of this in the future.
In light of where we are with Iran, and I know that you have not announced you're running for president, but I'm sure you've seen the rumors, right? That you're going to run for president?
I've heard about it, yeah.
You've heard, okay. What would you do? What would you do about Iran?
Well, I think if there's a bad deal on the table, we should walk away from it. I hope the president will do that far beyond just the next presidential election. As Henry Kissinger and George Shultz pointed out the other day in the Wall Street Journal, there's some very serious concerns. You know, it's not just people in the United States Senate in both parties. It's certainly Israel raising concerns, as Benjamin Netanyahu has raised as prime minister, but talking to many of our other allies in the Arab world, and the Gulf states in particular, there's real concern about why did we go into these negotiations in the first place? Why would we go down this path with a country that still continues to have connections to terrorist actions around the world, that has talked about pushing to enrich uranium, that won't completely disavow and disconnect themselves from having a nuclear weapon, and which has plenty of its own problems in terms of not only saying they want to completely take out Israel, but whose supreme leader, yet again, responding to people in that own country, talking about rash actions against the United States. I think there are some very serious concerns, and I hope that this deal doesn't go forward. I hope the president will walk away from it, but I think the next president should not be wed to that going forward, should have the capacity to pull back. Certainly, I think that would be in America's best interest.
You know, every governor who ever runs for president gets criticized for not having foreign policy experience, since that isn't part of the job of being governor. Except for, I mean, governors do trade missions. I know that you're going on a trade mission, or you're going to have a discussion in Germany soon. And so, but in terms of foreign policy having to do with ISIS and military things, how does a governor learn or develop foreign policy?
Well, you do spend time doing research. Part of it's just the passion of feeling deeply about this country, not just in terms of what your job responsibilities. I've been meeting for some time. Actually, one of my national security advisors is someone who was one of the top aides for Senator Corker, who now chairs the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee, someone who's been in the Marine Corps, been deployed, understands national security policy very well, and then reaching out to folks, whether it's reaching out to General Keane, General Mathis, General Hayden, any number of other ambassadors, both of the United States to other parts of the world, and even of late talking to ambassadors to the United States from other places. There are people who have an active interest, as well as over the years talking with George Shultz, Henry Kissinger, many others out there who have a wealth of knowledge and want to share that with people who want to reestablish America's place of leadership in the world again. Governors understand what it means to lead. It's why Ronald Reagan was such a great president, and why this president, a first-term senator who's never had the ability to lead prior to now, as I think has been a large failure when it comes to national security and foreign policy.
Governor, nice to see you, and I'm sure you're mourning like I am the basketball game the other night.
We are the Badgers, although we're ready for the Packers to bring the Lombardi Trophy back home again.
On to football, yes, thank you. Governor, thank you, sir. And we'll be right back.